I, 29 male, have spent the last 3 years building what I thought was a rock-solid life with my fiancé, 27 female. I'm an architectural engineer, so I'm literally trained to spot structural rot and foundation issues. Too bad I didn't notice my own relationship was crumbling until the night before the wedding. Our rehearsal dinner was held on a Friday night at this high-end bistro downtown. My parents spent $15,000 on this dinner alone because my fiancé and her mother insisted it had to be perfect for their social circle. Her family has always had champagne taste on my beer budget salary, and since I make high six figures, they've basically treated me like a walking ATM for years. While everyone was clinking glasses, I noticed the maid of honor, MOH, my fiancé's childhood best friend, looking like she was about to vomit. Every time my fiancé's phone buzzed, the MOH would look at me with pure guilt. When I went to the bar for a refill, she followed me and cornered me. She whispered, "I can't let you sign those papers tomorrow." She's been texting her ex all week. They have a plan. She told me the wedding is just a financial reset so she can get your house and alimony, then move him in later. Check the group chat. She showed me the screenshots. It was all there. My fiancé had literally written, "He's stable, and the wedding is paid for. Once the license is filed, I have leverage. I'll get the house and we can be together without the struggle." I didn't cause a scene. I didn't scream. I just felt this cold, weird clarity. I walked back to the head table, tapped my glass with a butter knife, and waited for the room to go silent. 80 people were staring at me. I said, "I'd like to make a toast to my fiancé." I thought we were building a life, but it turns out I was just funding a relocation project for her and her ex. The wedding is canceled. If you want to know why, ask the bride. Ask her why she's meeting her ex at the hotel tonight instead of me. The room went dead silent for 3 seconds before it absolutely erupted. I walked out, drove to our house, which I bought with my own money before I even met her, and started the process of cutting her out of my life. By the time I got home, my phone was a disaster. My fiancé was blowing me up with calls, and her father was leaving voicemails threatening to sue me for humiliation and demanding I pay for the venue cancellation fees. I ignored them and called my lawyer. Since we hadn't signed the marriage license yet, the legal part was actually pretty clean. At 11:30 p.m., the pounding started at my front door. My fiancé was there with her parents as backup. Her father was screaming that I had no right to embarrass his daughter and that I was legally responsible for her maintenance because she quit her job to focus on the wedding. I opened the door, but didn't let them in. I told her father, she quit her job because I was a safe bet and she's lazy. I never asked her to do that. Then I looked at my fiancé and told her I wanted the ring back. In my state, an engagement ring is a conditional gift. No marriage means no gift. Her mother tried to argue it was hers to keep, but I told them if I didn't have the ring in my hand, I was filing a conversion lawsuit for the $34,000 value on Monday morning. My fiancé finally ripped it off and threw it at me. It skittered under the fridge. I told them to leave before the cops I had already called arrived. The next morning, the day that should have been my wedding, I went to the venue. I had paid the deposits, so I had the control. I told the manager to call the local veterans shelter and the Women's Crisis Center. I told them a 5-course meal was waiting for anyone who needed it. I wasn't going to let that money go to waste on people who hated me. Then I moved to the real revenge. Her father is a contractor, and his business was only staying afloat because of a joint venture he was trying to sign with my father's development firm. I called my dad and told him everything. My dad is old school. He doesn't do business with people who lack basic integrity. He pulled the plug on the deal that afternoon. Without that contract, her father's business was basically dead in the water. But the plot thickened. A guy messaged me on social media later that day. It was the ex-boyfriend. He wasn't some smug jerk. He sounded broken. He told me my fiancé had been telling him I was abusive and was forcing her into the marriage through financial blackmail. He had been sending her half his mechanic's paycheck every month, nearly $10,000 in total, to help her escape me. She was scamming both of us at the same time. I told him to meet me at my lawyer's office on Monday. What she did to him was wire fraud and extortion. What she did to me was fraud in the inducement. On Wednesday, the process server hit her parents' house with the lawsuit for the $60,000 loan I had given her father for his business. I had him sign promissory notes a year ago, and since the wedding grace period he kept talking about was gone, the debt was due immediately. Her mother actually showed up at my office crying, saying I was destroying a family over a few texts. I told her their daughter's choices destroyed them, not me. The climax happened on Friday. I was at work and got a notification from my security system. My ex-fiancé had used a hidden key to get into my house and was trying to load my 75-inch TV and my grandmother's silver into a U-Haul. She didn't realize I'd installed new 4K cameras the day after the breakup. I called the cops and watched the live feed as they pulled into my driveway and caught her red-handed. Because the stuff she tried to take was worth way more than $5,000, she was charged with grand larceny and residential burglary. She tried to scream at me at the station that I owed her that stuff for the time she wasted on me. I just walked away. The fallout was total. Her father had to file for Chapter 7 bankruptcy because he couldn't pay back the $60,000 and had no new contracts. Their house went into foreclosure. My ex took a plea deal to avoid 10 years in prison. She's now on 5 years of intensive probation, has a felony record, and has to pay restitution to both me and the mechanic for the rest of her life. The mechanic and I actually grab a beer once in a while now. We're the only two people who really know how crazy that family was. I sold the house and moved into a penthouse downtown. It's smaller, but the foundation is a lot more solid. If you think this story had a better ending than my wedding would have, make sure to subscribe. Unlike my ex, I actually deliver on my promises.